All right, welcome back to Crossover Thursday, everybody, which is presented by PrizePicks. Remember to go to prizepicks.com/lockedonnfl and use code all lowercase lockedonnfl to win $50 instantly when you play just five. All right, Matt. So what are you thinking in this one? What are the biggest keys for the Lions? Because I don't feel like there's been a lot of roadblocks for the Lions I have to face so far, and this probably isn't a matchup you're super afraid of, but if the Lions had to hang their hats on a few things to get the win, what are you thinking?
Well, look, Jake, they got to go on the road, and they've been perfect on the road this year. Their one loss has been at home, and they're probably due to lose a road game. But again, this is a really dominant team that's played so well. And they go into every game focused on that game. I do think a short work week coming up after this with the Bears on Thanksgiving, playing 3 games and whatever it is, 11-day span. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. But
Mm-hmm.
I think they want to pay, I don't want to say pay the Bears back, but I think they want to put the Bears away on Thanksgiving, and a little Thanksgiving drought. They just got off of what Dan Campbell said was as complete a performance as they could have had against Jacksonville. So maybe a small trap. You want the focus to be there. Another key certainly is stopping Anthony Richardson in the run game. I think it would be smart of Steichen and company to roll them out a little bit, to do what they did on that touchdown where they pulled the right guard and he ran left. I think the Lions could be a little susceptible to that with Derek Barnes and Alex Anzalone, two of their better, chase down quarterbacks, linebackers out of this game. And number 3 is just turnovers on the road. Last game they survived the 5 turnovers and the 5 interceptions on the road in Houston. I don't think that'll happen again, but keep an eye on Stewart and Buckner. Don't let them get close to Goff. That pressure in his face sometimes causes some bad throws. So those are 3 things I think the Lions need to keep an eye on. How about for Indy?
Yeah. So for the Colts, there's kind of some newness, with the quarterback situation developing all the time. But I would like to see them establish the run at some point with Anthony Richardson. Jonathan Taylor is going to get carries. They can't always run him throughout the game. They tried early last week, but it didn't work. I think establishing Anthony Richardson as a running threat as well, I think that certainly helps keep the defense honest a little bit. They can't always disguise everything they want to when your quarterback and running back are both effective runners. So get Anthony running a little bit as well. They did it last week for the first time this season, it seemed like. So let's really see them build on that. Limit turnovers. The Colts have had some careless turnovers this year. Anthony in his first stint as the starter, Joe Flacco had some really, really bad ones a couple weeks ago. Turnovers can happen sometimes. Just try and limit those. Like Anthony's had a problem with the sometimes, just the accepting the snap or the handoff exchange has been a problem. He's had a few fumbles based on that. Clean that stuff up because that's so avoidable and it's unnecessary to have creep in and derail things just because you can't get the exchange down. So that, and then the pass rush, I don't think it's realistic to emulate everything Houston did to cause problems for Jared Goff. But they could be getting Tyquan Lewis back, and that is arguably their best depth pass rusher. If you can have Tyquan Lewis and Dayo Adangbo and Laiatu Latu and Kwity Paye all fresh throughout the game because you can rotate healthy guys, that would be really good. Obviously, Buckner and Grover Stewart there in the middle. If you can have an effective defensive line because you're churning guys in and out and they're all kind of getting theirs, I think that goes a long way towards forcing Goff into making some decisions and throws that he maybe doesn't want to. Because I think in this game, to play spoiler, you're going to have to get some turnovers. You're going to have to get some pressure. And so those 3 things in particular, I think the Colts are going to have to do.
Jake, I'm going to take the Lions. I think maybe a little bit of a slobber knocker, like 26-23, something like that. I like Jake Bates on the carpet. He's kicked the ball very well, but Indy plays all close games, man. I'm going to tell you. And I think this week will be closer than last week where the Lions won by 46 points. So what do you think?
Yeah, the Colts don't often get blown out or just do complete no-shows. I wanna see this game be a shootout almost because I just don't know that the Colts are gonna hold the Lions to like a low output. I'm going to give it to the Lions 34-31.
Okay.
I want to see Anthony build on that performance last week. And it doesn't mean the Colts have to win, but I want to see him be able to respond to another team's touchdowns. And I want to see, if you're scoring 31 points, it probably means you put together a product throughout the game and didn't have these long lulls. That's something the Colts have had problems with offensively, is just long periods of time of not being productive. So I would like to see the Colts offense respond to another strong offense. If the defense holds the Lions to 34 points, I think they could probably live with that as long as they did some things right. Like I said, a couple turnovers and some sacks. But just being realistic, I think the Lions do pull this one out about 34-31.